The 2025 planner season is finally here, you guys. And Rosie is so excited to get into her new goal planner. This year, though, I'm doing my goal planning a little bit differently. And I think you might be interested in how this unassuming blank notebook is going to run my whole goal setting system. I've gotten a lot of questions about this notebook because I am planning to use this for the next 10 to 15 years. But before we jump into that, I've actually started something new in my goal setting system that I want to share with you guys. It's actually a free app called Right Way that marries mindfulness, guided journaling, and meditation in a really bite-sized, accessible way. I'll tell you about the goal setting guided journal that I've personally been using in just a sec. I actually liked this app so much after playing around with it, and I really think you guys will too. And so I reached out to Right Way to see if they would sponsor this video. Thanks, Right Way. Okay, so now let me tell you about the way this goal setting journal is set up in the Right Way app. First off, I don't think I would go out and buy guided journals on all these different topics, but since they're all in one place, I found myself scrolling through all these different curated journals, and this was the first one that really caught my interest. Probably because I was working on this goal setting video at the same time. I love the quote cards that they put in before each journal to get me thinking. And then instead of starting with a blank page, it gives me a few thoughtful guided journaling prompts to respond to. And I'm gonna say it again, you guys, that this just really helps journaling feel a lot more approachable and bite-sized. And there are so many of these journals. I was telling Pierce about this daily wins one that we were talking about that I thought would be so cool to fill in for a year and then be able to look back on. Okay, so this app is completely free. You pick up different journals with credits in the app, and you actually start out with a lot of them. You can purchase more credits, but you also get credits just from journaling. Okay, Right Way actually made a special deal for you guys. When you open up the app for the first time, type Amanda in the box that asks how you heard about the Right Way app. So you can get the specific goal setting journal that I've been using without using any of your credits. The link in the description will take you straight to their website where you can download the app or use it right in your browser, so it's interchangeable between your phone and your computer. Thanks for sponsoring this video, Right Way. All right, now let's jump into my goal setting notebook system that I'm planning to use for the next decade. All right, so besides that free goal setting journal that I plan to continue with in the Right Way app, let me show you my system that I have been using for the past year. If you are new here, then you may not have heard about my yearly habit trackers, but if you are not new here, then you definitely already know about them because I have been using yearly habit trackers for years. A big part of my goal setting is just the habits that are really important to me that actually shape like a goal for myself. Like one of my habits is daily scripture study, and one of my habits is moving my body daily. And another habit that is not meant to be daily, but I just kind of like to see how I'm doing on it is yoga. These yearly trackers I didn't start until June because I was using somebody else's yearly habit tracker that they actually stopped making it. So Pierce whipped this one up for us in my printable store in my Patreon shop. You do not have to be a Patreon to shop there. It's just that was the best place to house my printable download shop right now. So in my download shop, besides these yearly habit trackers, you can pick up yearly calendars and you can print them over and over again for your entire family, whether you want lined or unlined, Sunday start or Monday start, as well as weekly trackers that fit in almost every planner. Those are the monthlies, and monthly trackers also. I find trackers beyond a week so valuable because weekly trackers, sure, it gives you that small little insight to that short time period, and it might give you a spur of motivation to see it for that week. But monthly trackers and then my yearly trackers, which are my personal favorites, and honestly the only ones that I keep up with long term, are the ones that give me the most insight because they show me how I'm doing on that habit that basically is a goal for me, and not just for that 1 week or that 1 month. It shows me how I'm doing overall and how every drop in the bucket really counts. Hence, our theme is one drop at a time. And we have these in dated and undated, and we have them in Sunday start and Monday start. The link to my Patreon store will be down there in the description. You write the habit you're working on and always remember progress over perfection because every drop in the bucket counts. When you look at the end of the year, how many drops you've had in the bucket on that habit that matters to you, or something in your life that matters to you. It could even be like hugging a family member every day, and see how many days in the year did you get that hug. And you can see that it made a difference at the end of the year when you look back. When I look at my scripture reading, it's not every day. My goal is daily, but I don't go for like a streak. I know I'm not going to have it every single day. And instead of just looking at 1 week myopically, I'm not sure if I'm using that word right, Pierce. Instead of just looking at that 1 week so zoomed in and think, wow, I only read 4 days this week. That's terrible if my goal is every day, right? Or 3 days. I am looking at the whole month as a whole, and I'm like, wow, okay, I did amazing. I'm so proud of myself through all that vacation that I still did that many days. And it really gives you a more comprehensive view at the end of the day. So I had just redated the 2025 blank one because we had never made them for 2024. And I have a color coding system on my moving my body every day. And my yoga is just, did I do a video or did I do it on my own? Those are the 2 colors that I have. Something also I love that's in our downloads there is just this 100 days of something. And there's like 50 days, I believe, and there might be a 30 day. These are made to fit perfectly on a note card so that it gives it a little, thickness to it. So I just double-sided tape this on a note card. And this is just to show me how long does it take me to get up to 100 yoga videos? Because I don't do a yoga video every day. I maybe do 1 to 3 yoga videos a week. Right now, I'm probably more on the scope of 1. And then the other times I'm doing just yoga stretching on my own. And so I just wanted to see how long it takes me to get up to 100 yoga videos. But you could use this for anything. It could be 100 days of eliminating something from your life. It could be 100 days of adding something to your life. And I just wrote my start date on the back. Once again, you do not have to be a Patreon. Just do not purchase through the Patreon app, because on iPhones, they actually add like $1.50 to the price of every single product. So it just looks like these cost $1.50 more each, like they're not even noting that on there. And that extra money that you're paying actually goes straight to Apple. You don't want to pay $1.50 on something that only costs a couple dollars to start with. So don't purchase through the Patreon app, purchase through the Patreon website, which I am linking down below. So those are my habit trackers. They are integral in my goal planning because my goal planning is a lot more focused on these big type things like this, like that are more habits or spiritual goals. That's like my personal goal planning, which I'm not going to share all the personal goals here, but I will share the projects pages and everything. So half my goal planning is that. It's like you never arrive at a certain point. It's always something that I want to be doing to keep progressing and working on myself. That is why I love yearly trackers, and they are a huge part of my system. So I built this golden coil notebook last year because for a couple of years, I had been thinking I really want to put all my goal planning into one notebook. And I didn't know what kind of notebook I wanted. I toyed with the idea of just using a Leuchtturm because you guys know how much I love Leuchtturms. You can just get them off Amazon. I will link one down below for you on Amazon. I will also link my Leuchtturm playlist. I have a whole playlist about them because I love them that much. And I was like, this could be a really good goal, journal. 2, you can get all different types of pages. And I like the idea of a little bound book. And I went through thinking of other coiled notebooks, but then my mind honed in on golden coil. And you can do this system in any notebook. You don't need a golden coil, but I love what I built here with golden coil. So I have used goal planners in the past for my channel. I wanted to check them out. I wanted to use them. I used Power Sheets for probably a good 2.5 years, and I learned a lot from their system. I really did. I learned a lot about goal setting. And then I used Moxie Life for 6 months so I could do a really good comparison video when Moxie Life came out. And that is still up on my channel. And even though both of them have morphed and changed somewhat, I still stand strong behind that comparison video because it shows you the major differences between the two, and you can really get a good feel between the two in that video. So I have used both of those, and I don't knock goal setting systems or systems that are in like the Hemlock and Oak planner. So like smaller, less robust goal setting that is built into a lot of planners. I have my top 5 favorite goal setting planners for 2025 up in my video that just came out. I will link that down below because if you're interested in goal planning, you might be interested in seeing how it's incorporated into those different planners. But after using those and all the experience I've had in the planner world now with this job, I really knew that what was best for me was going back to my own system. So before this job and before Power Sheets and Moxie Life, I had always used my own system. For years, I didn't have a comprehensive system built and I never kept it in a separate notebook. I almost always just kept it in a planner or a journal that I was using for that year. And so then when that journal was filled up or that planner was used up for that year, I didn't keep my planners then. And my journal, I would just store away. And it would usually take me a year or two to fill up a journal, but then it's stored away. The planner was stored away. In different years, I did different things. And so going back every year, I was like, I wish I could look back on last year and even the year before, and maybe before that. That would really help me with this year to see how far I had come, what had I worked on in goals and projects and habits. And that reflection would really help hone me in onto where I needed to go this year. But I never had it right there. And that was why I wanted to put it in one notebook of some type and use it for as many years until that notebook ran out. So that's where this golden coil was born. These are just Mary Ingle Bright pictures from her day-by-day calendar off Amazon. I will link the new one here. I just cut the pictures out because I love them. They give me a homey feel and they make me happy. And I wanted to make this journal feel like my own. So for 2024, for every year, I put I think 20 of these in because I said this could last me for 10 to 15 years on Instagram. And I know people were laughing at me, but I put 20 year at a glances up front. So this is what you can do with Golden Coil. You can make these choices. So I chose, this is how you can build a notebook or a planner with them, however you want. I put 20 of these year at a glances up front because that way, even if I wanted to use 2 in one year, because it might get too messy, or I might want to track 2 things one year, I just put a lot of them. But for 2024, I actually only ended up using 1 of these. These were just for our major projects and to-dos. And you can see I've really fallen off the wagon in December. It's the beginning of December. And these things are still waiting to get done. But I love just being able to look what got crossed off and then what got moved to another month and then what maybe didn't get moved at all because I just decided it wasn't important. So I just mapped out major projects and to-dos and I tried to check in here about once a month and look what I had going on. And these came off of, so I marked it with one of their rulers. That's all my year at a glances waiting to be used. That's kind of off of my 2024 pages too. And I have some more 2024 pages, but they house my more personal, I call them heart goals, basically just spiritual, what I want to work on, and with family connections and relationships. So I'm not going to share those here, but I will share everything else with you guys. So this is just things for 2024 that I was mapping out and thinking about. And then that's how that morphed onto the 2024 year at a glance. I added more pictures here just for fun. Then I'm going to look back on all of this as I plan for 2025. Let me skip the personal pages and show you I've done nothing for 2025 on here, but I did write with my really pretty metallic gold brush pen that I got in the Erin Condren 12 Days of Stationary Advent calendar that they sent me. So that's all I've done so far to start here. Yeah, I don't think I've done anything else. I put dot grid pages here and I put a really good number. I cannot remember how many. And then I put some project planning pages and I marked it with another one of their rulers because I didn't know if I would want to use some of these for certain projects to break down action steps. I haven't yet, but I think that will be really helpful because when a project is too big and we write it on our list, then I just feel overwhelmed by it and I don't do anything on it because I don't even know where to start. And so if I write the project and then the steps, what is the first tiniest thing I have to do for that? And then the second step, and then the third step going down. Then that will really help me. I can say, okay, step number 1, I'm going to put, in February, and I'm going to get that done. So I put the project planning pages in here to be able to break stuff down in action steps. Then I put some graph grid pages just in case if I wanted to change from the dot grid. Then I put these different project planning pages in here. I'm not sure exactly how I would use these, but I must have had some idea when I built this notebook. I mean, obviously the project would go here, but there's not really room for a lot of different steps down here. So I'll have to see if I ever end up using those and how I use them. I'll definitely share on here as I give my yearly updates. And then I put blank pages because I really do love blank pages for different things. And then I did keep this from my power sheets one year. I tore this out before I threw them away. And see, I think looking back on things helps me. And I don't know why I just saved this one year from power sheets, a couple pages. That was really helpful. And so that's why I'm always going to have it in here. When I want to make a mind map of things of the year, I do love to make mind maps of like my personal goals and everything. Then I can look back on them. So they have a pocket folder at the back of your golden coil. And that's pretty much what I put in here. Another great way to build this notebook would be a ring agenda. Like Erin Condren sells very affordable ring agendas, as does Amazon. You can just buy, blank or lined page inserts, whatever you want. And I've heard a couple of my friends say they're going to do this in a ring agenda, or they have already started it, because then you can make different dividers, hence my dividers, and categories. And you can also take pages out that don't matter to you anymore, and you can add things in. So I think a ring agenda for this type of goal planner is also a really good idea. I just feel like Golden Coil was the easiest because you can pick your pages and like how many you want and just plop them in here and just get started. So for 2025, I have already started to think through things. I only used a friction pin here. That's not the case with last year, and I doubt I'll stay with only friction in here. But just because I was kind of pre-planning out, I decided to put stuff in with a friction pin that I was thinking about, since this was very rough pre-planning, and or sticky notes. Last year, as I started thinking about things, I would stick a lot of sticky notes in here, and then just recently, I took most of those off. It was filled with maybe like 10 more sticky notes, and I started putting them in the months that I thought it would fall in. I really like planning our projects or family things by month, because you can look at when you're having a vacation. When is Pierce home from college? What's happening with the seasons at that time, the weather, because that really dictates, like, we're not going to put cleaning out our garage in June, July, or August if I can help it. So I think through things with the house, as in where do they go the best, in the year, with our activities, with holidays, with vacations, and school time. So it's really nice to have year at a glances to work with in here, and to be able to look back on this, and to be able to look back on my projects, goals for the year, and then my personal ones behind this. I can already tell you that I love having this all housed in one place. I love it. Now, I do understand one of the biggest problems with having it out of your planner is you do have to remember to come check it. I do have to come here monthly and check in on this, and I have to say, does this work for this month? So many things are moved around. Do I need to add something to this month or take it away, and then transfer it to my planner from there with the action steps? Like, what am I actually going to try to get done from here? Put it in my planner for that month. Now, here's something. I would love to write my personal, spiritual, and relationship and family goals in my planner, like break that down into monthly and weekly actions, and to have that in my planner just as a reminder, like every week. Even if I put it on a Post-it note, I'm actually start doing that, because I shared with a friend, I don't actually like to write those personal ones in my planner, because I share my planner in so many videos and on Instagram. And I just don't want to share all that. Not because any of it is bad. It's just, I want to keep some things personal, and some things, of course, include other people in my family that I also don't want to put out there. So maybe a Post-it note would actually be a good way to keep those things forefront for me, if I could always remember to remove the Post-it note before I showed the planner. But I'm not sure I can remember that, because in the past, I have tried different things, like saying I need to remove this out of my planner before I shared it, and I have completely forgotten. So I'm just brainstorming out loud here, actually right now in real time. And maybe I just need to keep that as like a Post-it note on my desk now that I'm thinking of it, like on the bottom of my computer or something, so that it's forefront, my personal intentions and goals, things I'm wanting to keep forefront in my mind and work on, but that it is not out there for people to see, or maybe just on my bathroom mirror, or at my scripture study morning desk in my bedroom. I think I'm going to do one of those this year. I have not worked that in yet, but I think, I really like that idea to keep it at my morning desk with scripture study. But as far as the projects, transferring it to my planner is really important in making sure they get done. So keeping everything forefront, you definitely have to have a system to where you say, okay, beginning of the month, kind of like when I'm saying setting up my planner for that month, I need to remember to come in and check in on my goals. Or maybe you check in on them weekly, like you say every Friday is your check-in, or every Sunday, whatever you decide. So that is my goals notebook, which is mainly still blank, as we saw. And you could see how this could last me up to like 20 years now, right? Because I honestly think it can. Now, if I was having to be very portable with this and I wanted it to carry it with me like daily, I would definitely want probably a little more protected system where I feel like this wouldn't go in and out of a bag great daily for 10 years or more, right? It wouldn't handle it well, the coil. So I would definitely think more along a Leuchtturm line or a Ring Agenda from Erin Condren or from Amazon. Like just for an example, here's an A5 Erin Condren Ring Agenda. It's a lot bigger than an A5 notebook, a lot, because of course it has to house your rings and everything. But it would be a great goal setting, planning intentions notebook too. I love how a notepad fits on the back of it and your pen holder. So I really love that idea of making a ring agenda into this. I actually didn't even think of a ring agenda at all. I was thinking more of a bound book until this year, and a friend mentioned it to me. But I think it's great. All right, before we sign off and wrap it up, I do want to share something that I have not given an update on in years. I have a whole video on it. It is called my life book, my everything life book. And I started it on 1/1/18. And this life book doesn't really have a lot of personal in it, so I think I can flip through it. It is literally all those things with your house, your car, your family, purchases, things you want to keep track of, but that you never remember. So I have made different categories in here, and you can see how it's gotten quite filled up, but that it could last many, many more years. And I love the index in the front of the Leuchtturm so that I can write like big items purchased. So it's just big things like when did we each purchase our laptops? I know you can look that up, but I like to have things on paper, you guys. Life insurance info, vacations we took every year and information about places we stayed or maybe how much we paid or what we liked, what we didn't, car maintenance. And you guys, until I pulled this out today, because I just usually open this and I enter oh, we got a new washer and where did we buy it from? Did we buy the warranty plan on it, right? How much was it? Our roof, when we got that redone from hail a couple times in this house. But I had forgotten until I looked at the index. When I first started this, I thought this was where I was going to keep long-term goals. And I have some pages mapped out in here for it and my achievements in here. So I will have to look back on that. So I forgot that I thought this could be a good place to gather them all together. But then I never stuck with that. And once again, they went all over, some years in a planner, some years in a journal, and obviously some years in here. And they could definitely have stayed in here. It's just this turned into more just a record all the information for life, hence called your life book. And yeah, you could definitely keep this digitally, which would probably be a lot smarter. And I love my notes app on my iPhone. I use it for all things work. I could not work without that notes app. But once again, I'm a paper person and I think lots of us are. So I thought since this kind of goes along with goals and I would give an update on this because it's been, since 2018. So I guess 6 years I've had this life book and it's worked out perfect. I've looked up stuff in it. It's helped me to reference things. And I will link my video of my setup and thoughts on this book when I was first starting it down in the description. All right, guys, that wraps us up for today. Of course, you can use any notebook. I would love to hear your thoughts on this interesting system that I'm doing all in one notebook. I'd love to hear how you do your goal planning and goal keeping and transfer it to your planner. Please share all that down below. I always learn so much from all of you. And I know everyone else enjoys reading the comments too. I feel like we're going to learn a lot from each other in this comment section. So comment down below. Thanks for being here. Happy New Year, my friends. Happy 2025. I hope that you will stick around and we can spend this year together. We are all here to help each other, to celebrate with each other, and to support each other in hard times. Take a deep breath as we start this new year. You are a wonderful person. As you start to set your goals, remember, you don't have to set the goals that the world tells you to set. Think about what is really important to you, what matters to you, what would improve your life, your mental state, your family. Think about those things that are personal to you and make those goals and make those habits that contribute to the person you are becoming. And don't feel pressured to share them anywhere online, because I think sometimes when we feel the pressure to share things, sometimes that changes the goals we make. Make them personal, make them for you, And if you need accountability and you like to share things for the accountability reasons, then share away, my friends. But we're all different personalities and we all need different things. And remember, take care of yourself so you can take care of others. All right, I'll see you next time. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.